Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm just waiting. All right, we're good. We're live on all platforms. We are live on all of the platforms that we stream on, all three of them. I have to put a Totino's pizza in the oven in a minute here, because I'm hungry. And I also have to place my dinner order so it gets here at the right time. How is everyone doing? We got a new subscriber while we were gone, actually. So, Will the Protector, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'll play your alert, even though you subscribed, presumably on a different video, but thank you so much for that. I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day, and had a good week this last week. And, yeah, so Nick Prohl is here, Danny is here, Zach Griff is here, so thank you all for being here. Legate is here, obviously. The chat window didn't open up in time for you three. Apologies on that, but we should be good now. So, everybody say hi in the chat if you're watching. Everybody say hello. We always love to have our, we love to say hello to everyone who is watching, so we can thank you all for watching. Driving, what's up? How you doing? I'm glad you're watching. Please be safe. So, I hope we're all well today. Yo, Danny. About to get a haircut, but I'll leave this on for view inflation. Thank you so much. 07 on that one. We appreciate that. Sevens, boys. So, hopefully we'll have a good stream. We always try to have a good stream, you know. Do you guys think we should split the games up? We've been playing games at the end of stream. Should we do some games at the beginning of stream and some games at the end of stream? You know, some general web games while we chat. I think that's what we should do, by the way. I'm saying I think and asking you guys, but you don't really get an opinion. You guys don't really get an opinion on that, unfortunately for you. What I'm saying is we're going to do some of the games that we play at the end of the stream. Not going to play the detective game. No, we're not going to play like full video games. We're just going to play like play Chrono. Maybe we'll play Duo Trigodal. That kind of stuff while people come in. Duo Trigordal. And those kind of games while people come in. Shadows of Doubt doesn't run on Mac, so I can open Steam and see what runs on Mac. But while we do that, I'm going to step away real quick. And I should have titled the soundboard buttons different things, because I don't remember what some of these do. So I don't remember what this one does, for example.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
Let's see Paul Allen's card.
Okay. Yo, what's up, Happy? I'm going to put my dinner in the oven real quick. Joining on my phone. Hope everyone's behaving. We're doing good. I'm going to put my dinner in the oven real quick. I'll be right back, and then we'll look at Steam. We'll play some games while everybody gets into stream, get everybody's energy up. Step away cam for the stream. I re-rigged the way we're doing the push-up camera. So I re-rigged it. It's not as good looking as my phone, but it allows me to have my phone at my desk, which I do need while I'm streaming, just in case somebody needs to get a hold of me. And so it's not as good, but it allows me to have my phone, and it's more reliable. So we're just using a Video Ninja browser source from a webcam in my living room and a Linux computer. So there you go. There's your push-up cam. It's terrible and ugly, but you will have to be fine with it. Can we do a pacer test stream? That would be hilarious. You know what? If somebody in Steubenville, if one of my buddies in Steubenville figures out, would be willing, it would probably take two of them to be willing to help me run a stream, I will. And we'd have to find a gymnasium. If I can find a gymnasium and a friend who's willing to help me with that, then yes, we can do a stream where I run the Fitness Gram Pacer test. Cable mess jump scare there. That is not that. That's the less bad cable mess. We'll just leave it at that. I'm going to put my dinner in the oven. I will be right back, chat. Like 20 seconds, I promise. I do need a be back soon overlay. You know what we're going to do after I come back is make a be back soon overlay in Claude. But I will be right back. I'm going to just throw my frozen pizza in the oven. All right, boys. I'm back. Set a timer for 12 minutes. Thank you. I'm becoming Unk. I just thanked Siri. We discovered I'm Unk last night in the Discord VC when we were all hanging out. But yeah, turns out I'm Unk. Why find a gymnasium for a pacer test when all you need is 20 meters of flat pavement? Because you need the lines. I guess I could do it on pavement, like at the park or something. I just have to like figure out how to set the lines reliably. I knocked the light over. Out. I hope I didn't break them. Unk occupied Discord. True. Fact check true. For news articles for the stream, what do you prefer? Because I'm looking for one for Jimmy Lai. I'm not going to talk about any foreign policy stuff that you guys suggest, unfortunately. I'm just going to let you guys know. If it has to do with things outside of America, I will have done the research on it and know it's happening and be planning to talk about it on stream. But if it's happening outside of America, I do not know enough about foreign policy to discuss it. So I know a lot of you guys feel strongly about a lot of the foreign policy stories, but that's not my specialty. And I'm not going to be able to do those without extensive research. And I know what I want the stream to be. So the articles that I will do from the Discord suggestions will be stuff that I don't need to do research on, that I can just live, like, raw react to. Pundits be like, yeah, I love foreign policy. Unironically, yeah. Knows nothing about foreign policy. So true. I know nothing about foreign policy. I know nothing about any political system except for the United States. I know some about Britain's. I'm not going to do any reaction to anything outside of the United States unless I pick it and I've done the research. Who's a good foreign policy guy? No one, dude. Foreign policy's gay. It doesn't matter. Foreign policy's so gay. I don't know. I'm sure there are some good foreign policy guys. It's just, I just don't pay attention to it, so I don't know. Like, I can't answer that question because I so don't care that I don't pay attention to it. I can't answer the question. Do you guys think I get copyright claimed by Dear Other? It would depend on if their music's in like an auto system, wouldn't it? It's interesting. It's an interesting thought to think about. Foreign policy doesn't matter until it becomes domestic policy. Kind of true. Diplomacy is base, man. Read the state of war. Read man, the state, and war. Okay, I'll consider it. But yeah. So there you go, guys. What are the words I do for this one? No, not state. Brick. I know brick is one of them. It's like flame. Flame was one of them. Yeah. Because the goal is to use 3 guesses right off the bat that have no letters in common, but use most of the common letters. So I need a T word here. Maybe a T, a word with a T and an O in it here. Those has an S and an E. Oh, yeah, I might just have to do that. I might just have to reuse the E unless there's a... What about... Spout. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Spout is goated here. Yeah, that doesn't reuse anything. Okay. All right. Oh, solve assist. We want solve assist on. That way, all solve assist does for anybody who thinks I'm cheating. If you have, like right here, it's literally just to type this in, so it just types it automatically, so you don't actually have to just scroll through and find words that you already have the answer to. Do I have this one? SPLA. No, I don't have that one. I have 4 letters in that one. Scope here. Scope. Is that just gonna be slick? That's just gonna be slick, isn't it? It was not slick, which is bad. Okay, we burned a guess. We only have 1 guess to burn. It wasn't slick? That's a problem. Okay. That's very bad. Very bad. Okay, this could be gripe. It could be nothing else though, right? That's gotta be gripe. Alright, okay. Okay. Now we just have to hit the rest of these perfect. We just have to go perfect here. Is this slink? This could be slink. It's not slick, it could be slink. Is there another word it could be? Not really, right? That's slink. Yeah, there we go. We got a couple auto completes. That's good. 2 is lapse. Yep, it is. I almost want to say this is ghoul. Is this ghoul? That's ghoul, right? That's got to be ghoul. The OU there, the G at the beginning, the L not in second. It's ghoul. It's ghoul. Okay, let's see. SPOER. Oh, we have all these. Is this? It's not spore. Okay, it could be pore. It could be pores. Is it pores? Right? Because the P. Yeah, it's pores. Right? Was it not pores? It wasn't pores. Okay, no extra guesses. Crap. Poser? Dude. Poser is tough. Poser is hard. That sucks that it was poser or pores. I just didn't see it and I ripped a guess. I shouldn't have done that. This word is going to whip us. Pound is one of them. We haven't used D. It could be, yeah, that could be pound. Holy cow. Oh, okay. Wait, do we have the other letter here? No. I mean, it could be beset, right? Is that how you spell beset? Is this how you spell beset? I don't think that's how you spell beset. That just doesn't feel right. Like it's yelling at me. Is that not how you spell beset? I think it could be how you spell beset. Because we've used all the other vowels, right? A, I, O, U. It's not biset, so it is beset. It has to be. That's the only word. Yeah, it's beset. Okay. Beset is beset, yeah. Okay. I think you're right about this being pound, but it also could be... No, it can't be anything else, can it? I guess that's pound. Alright, let's rip it. Okay, good. No extra guesses, by the way, so we have to get a word on every guess from here on out. So this is... pinch. R at the beginning, so R-E. R-E. Is there not, am I missing another letter? No. Okay, so relax. It could be relax, but I don't want to rip. I don't want to rip an X with 0 guesses to spare. Because see, I've got 0. This is how many extra guesses you have. So I have 0 extra guesses right now. So ripping an X sounds like a terrible idea. Where are you seeing dirge? Oh yeah, that's just dirge. Yeah, it has to be. There's no other possibility. Okay. Tiled? That's tiled. It has to be tiled because where the L and the T can't be. So we're looking at tiled. Throw with a W. Dude, we're gonna have to rip a W, aren't we? I mean, there's no other word that can be. We're just gonna have to rip the W. Okay. my food's done. Hold on. Food's done. Days. Oh, but I have a cold. I could have been stuck in bed all week. Thank you for the stream, so I have to be in it. So entertaining to watch. Hey, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm just gonna wait for my food to cool. It's just a Totino's. I just stacked it because it wouldn't fit on the plate otherwise. So it's a pizza sandwich now. D isn't here. So D is here or here. O is not here. So O is here or here. Missing a letter for sure, right? I is here or here. I is here or here. O is here or here. D is here or here. Unless I'm missing another place O can't be. Oh no, O is here, so O is at the beginning. So it's... O is at the beginning here. Oh shit. Are you watching 24 Hours in Nürburgring? I am not. I didn't know that was happening. That sounds fun though. Okay, so... OL with the D... Where's the I? Not the I isn't there. Oldie? Is that I didn't know. I guess that is a word. 'Cause the I's not in third, so it has to go in fourth, though it's oldie. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to rip this X because I think this is Vixen. And I think this is Vapid. This is Satyr with a Y. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rip this X. This relax X. I'm just gonna have to rip it. Oh, gosh, you gotta be kidding me. It's not relax. It's relay with a Y. Damn. This is relay with a Y. This is gonna be... This is Vixen. Yeah. Dude, the X... I got multiple X and Y words in the same one. That's crazy. Peeve. Dude, this sucks. I have 2 guesses left in 3 words. Come on. This sucks. This is Psalm. Is this Maxim? I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be Maxim with 2 M's, right? Yep. Agony. Dude, that sucks. That sucks on that one. That's an L. Just gonna take the L on that for sure. Just gonna take the L on that for sure. That's rough. That's rough. Just taking the L. I'll just hold it. Just gotta hold the L there. That's on me, boss. That's on me. That one's on me. Do I want to? All right, I'll do it.
But there's gonna be
This is gonna yeah, whatever. Rage bait. Let's get rage baited, chat. You and me. Yay, chat. Everybody say yay. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens, huh? Let's see what happens.
things where as Christians we have to investigate, here's the principles, how do we apply them?
Right.
But we know when we do apply them overall, it makes society better.
I love Christian ethics.
Good.
Right? The problem is that when the state blends with Christianity in a removal of separation of church and state, what happens is that what is Christian ethics is very tied to power. And I think power is not a pursuit of the good. Power is a pursuit of power.
Power is not a pursuit of good. Power is a pursuit of power. No. Power is a pursuit of nothing. It's a... Why is whatever on the screen? Because this debate is about abortion and Christian nationalism. And look, we can say all the high and mighty things about what we do on this stream. Let's be honest about what we do on this stream. 90% of the time what we do on this stream is rage bait me. All right, for clip. We clip farm me rage baiting myself. Power is a pursuit of nothing. Power is potency. What? Power is a pursuit of power? It's not a pursuit of the good? How about power is potency? How about they come from the same word? Power is the thing a person has when they can turn potential into actual, right? Potential, potent, right? They can take the potential, use the potency of the potential, turn it into the actual. Power is a pursuit of power, not a pursuit of what the fuck?
This is just a critique of any value system. For me, it's killing human beings is wrong. And in some cases, you're allowed to start with the moral principle and the sequelae or whatever
I never
follows.
said that you can't start with them.
Yeah.
In fact, even the
I want to
state-
start with that.
Huh?
So we're talking about Christian nationalism today, a lot of things under that umbrella. And the problem with talking about Christian nationalism is that nobody can agree on what it means. The critics of the idea often define it as like Handmaid's Tale fever dreams of religious leaders directly controlling the government and instituting evil policies like turning women into slaves. And defenders of the idea are
Actually, perfect. That's great. He's completely correct about that. W there. Also, can I say something? I want to talk about. I'm sure I'll get mad and disagree with Trent in a couple minutes, but I just want to talk about like a meta-analysis of Trent's debate. Trent in debates, especially online debates. Trent understands better than most people that online debates are not discussions with the person across the table from you. They are rhetorical devices for making your case to the fans of the person who's across the table from you. And so Trent, I've never seen him not do this like recently. I guess you could probably go back and find old debates of him not doing this. But like in the last couple years, he looks dead down the camera and not at whoever else is at the table, which let me tell you, speaking from experience, it is really hard when there are other human beings to not look at them naturally. That's your natural instinct, and to look at like a black circle. You know, it just feels super unnatural, and you have to really train yourself to do it. And he's very good at it. So props to him on that. First of all, the first thing I noticed was not whatever he said. I already forgot it. Oh, is that you can't define Christian nationalism. It was, yeah, that's true. But the first thing I actually noticed before hearing what he said was him popping, looking down camera, which is great stuff. And if you remember, like Saturday Night San Evil, I think episode 1, we watched a Buchanan speech where Buchanan's at the, like the stream. And we watched a Buchanan speech from the Republican National Convention where he was hitting his power lines down camera instead of at the audience. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a skill, and he's very good at it.
Across a wide spectrum, with probably a few crazy people in the mix. But the most prominent defenders of Christian nationalism put forward a fairly reasonable definition of it. Stephen Wolfe defines it as a totality of national action consisting of civil laws and social customs conducted by a Christian nation as a Christian nation in order to procure for itself both earthly and heavenly good in Christ. Andrew Torba says it is a spiritual, political, and cultural movement comprised of Christians who are working to build a parallel Christian society grounded in a biblical worldview. As a Catholic, I agree with these goals, though I would lean more towards Catholic integralism, which would root authority on moral matters in the Catholic Church's teaching than just amorphous principles. Though I also lean towards libertarianism, so I'd want a kind of limited.
You remember when I said I'm sure I'm going to get mad or I'm sure I'm going to disagree with him in a minute here? I'll get the book out. Let me get it out. Centesimus Annus, paragraph 42. Returning now to the initial question, can it perhaps be said that after the failure of communism, capitalism is the victorious social system, and that capitalism should be the goal of countries now making efforts to rebuild their economy and society? Is this the model which ought to be proposed to the countries of the Third World, which are searching for paths to true economic and civil progress? The answer is obviously complex. If by capitalism is meant an economic system which recognizes the fundamental and positive role of business, the market, private property, and the resulting responsibility for the means of production, as well as free human creativity in the economic sector, then the answer is certainly in the affirmative, even though it would perhaps be more appropriate to speak of business economy, market economy, or simply free economy. But if by capitalism is meant a system in which freedom in the economic sector if by capitalism is meant a system in which freedom in the economic sector is not circumscribed within a strong judicial framework, which places it at the service of human freedom in its totality, and which sees as a particular aspect of that freedom the core of which is ethical and religious, then the reply is certainly negative. End of sentence. So you will notice that John Paul II, guy who grew up under both Nazism and communism, says, if you mean by capitalism this thing that's good, then yes. But a more appropriate name for it would be not capitalism, basically, right? Words other than capitalism. If by capitalism is meant a system which is totally free market, then the answer is negative. Then he's just leaves it. That one he feels fine, right? It would perhaps be more appropriate to speak of, right? He feels the need to clarify that this is not necessarily capitalism, what he's speaking of. But when he speaks of the negative one, he doesn't rename it. That's not libertarianism. I agree with Trent that, I don't like the word integralism. That's a longer conversation. I agree with Trent that you need, to put the government at the service of the Catholic moral system and what's taught in the Catholic Church. But then he directly contradicts himself by saying libertarianism. Because libertarianism and free markets, like total free markets, or even allowing free markets to solve moral problems without judicial framework being involved, is one of the specific, there's very few specific, hey, don't do this in Catholic social teaching. And one of them is, don't have just a total free market and expect it to solve moral problems. The chat box is broken again, chat. It's always freaking broken. Literally constantly. Just never gonna not be broken for some reason. I can't fix it. I don't know what to do about that. But it's always broken. It's just always broken. Whatever. This one is not, so I don't know why. Let me look at the settings of this one and check and make sure they're the same. The settings of this one that work are the exact same as the settings of the one that don't work. Whatever.
Christian government that still respects the rights of all people. Does that mean I want a theocracy that oppresses other religions? Not at all. The Second Vatican Council taught that religious freedom, quote, has to do with immunity from coercion in civil society. Therefore, it leaves untouched traditional Catholic doctrine on the moral duty of men and societies toward the true religion and toward the one Church of Christ. When Pope Leo recently visited the European nation of Monaco this year, he said the following to them: "You are among the few countries in the world to have the Catholic faith as a state religion. This faith places us before the sovereignty of Jesus, who calls Christians to become in the world a kingdom of brothers and sisters, a presence that does not cast down but raises up, that does not separate but connects, always ready to protect every human life with love at any time and in any condition, so that no one is ever excluded from the table of fraternity." So what kind of Christian state would I want to live in? How about one where it's illegal to dismember babies in the womb?
Pizza.
Or create them in labs and sell them even to unmarried men through commercial surrogacy? A state where sperm donors don't father thousands of children who will never know their father? Where porn that destroys children's minds and their families is basically illegal, especially AI content involving people, who are not adults. So even when some judges say that should be protected under the First Amendment. Above all, it's a state where the highest value is not liberty, but the good itself, God. Now, we might disagree about where to...
Yo, based. Good job. Based, Trent. There we go. I wonder if he's changed his opinion, because after he debated Jacob, he did a debate review where he unironically defended people price gouging on like household appliances during COVID. He said that it was like if you bought a bunch of appliances cheap and then you hoarded them so that you could get more money out of them by selling them back to, and I could be wrong about this. If I'm wrong about this, I'll say I was wrong and I'll apologize. But I do remember this. I listened to this debate wrap up after he debated Jacob and Mom years ago. He said that it was like they were owed certain amounts of money. Like he defended price gouging on basic human household appliances and needs.
Draw the line.
So I wonder if he's changed opinion on that, because that line makes it sound like he might have. So I hope he has. Did you fold it? No, I cut it in half because it didn't fit on the plate. I cut it in half and made it a sandwich because it didn't fit on the plate otherwise.
Between outlawing evil and merely using social customs to shame evil. But we should agree society is better if our goal for people is to live good lives and not merely pleasurable lives. So here's a simple argument that I would propose. There's 3 premises and a conclusion. Number 1, all laws are based on ethical systems. Number 2, some ethical systems are better than other systems. And number 3, Christian ethical systems are better than secular systems.
My hands are greasy. I have to ban this guy. I have to ban this guy.
So laws should be based on Christian ethical systems. I think 1 and 2 are obvious. We might disagree about number 3, but I would say that this premise is true because Christianity provides the best explanation for why there are any moral obligations at all, why all human beings have equal dignity, and it produces the best outcome for avoiding grave and debaucherous evils that harm men, women, and especially children. So there you go. My concern is that there's no such thing as true state neutrality on several issues. I will give you 2 examples.
Yo, wait, hold up. Let's go. That's based. There's no such thing as true state neutrality. He said on several issues, on any issues, chat. But we'll give it to him. There's no such thing as true state neutrality on any issues, actually. But we'll take that. We'll take that. Let me pop a 9er in. You know what I'm saying? Let me pop a 9er in. Yeah. Everybody used to make fun of me for doing 3s. Now I'm on 9s. Some of you pussies are still on 6s. Let's go.
So the state cannot be neutral on the question of who is a person with a right to life. Or
what do you mean by neutrality? Do you mean like moral neutrality or like
moral,
or like
and, moral and legal?
Like
as
they
in the
can't be
state doesn't
agnostic?
like the state doesn't talk about that issue. So there.
No, as in it takes either side. It takes like it's not taking a side is taking a side.
I mean, so for example, which religion is true? Like in America, the state is neutral on that. Like the state doesn't tell us which religion is true.
Yes, it does. The state does tell us which religion is true. It used to be Christianity because the system of the Constitution, right? And we talked about this last week when we talked about like the refounding of America and the different republics of America. But it used to be Christianity. And a lot of states had blasphemy laws and religious tests to hold office. So the Constitution allowed those things, right? And it used to be Christianity. Since the Civil Rights Movement, and I've argued this extensively, that since the Civil Rights Movement, the religion the state tells us is true is what I call the cult of the divine equity, which is the idea that instead of the state being fundamentally concerned with the image of God and equality and equal dignity, it's concerned with equality in all things, or equity. And the reason that I believe that, and the reason I've given for that, and the explanation we've talked about on stream before, is that the cult of divine equity cannot survive. There are certain precepts of American law which imply moral standards in relation to equity. And one of them, for example, is the complete rejection of the First Amendment's right to freedom of association. Like, you don't have the right to freedom of association anymore. Now, once again, I have to say this every time in case it gets clipped out of context, in case somebody's like watches this back and never see. I'm not saying I'm defending segregation. I'm not saying I'm morally defending it. I'm not doing that. I am saying that that a state which enforces a ban on even private segregation is rejecting a right to freedom of association. Then you add in, and we've talked about this before, the fact that in the United States legal system, there are IQ barriers for standing trial in many states. Like, if you're too stupid, or you have like an IQ that's too low tested, then you're considered incompetent. And we have things like the United States government bringing in massive amounts of Haitians who, and this is, I'm not making moral judgments on this, I'm just explaining the system and why I think the system is defining a religious ethical system, right? It brings in a lot of these Haitians, massive amounts of Haitians, ships them into middle America, Springfield, Ohio, right? With eating the dogs, eating the cats. The average IQ of Haiti is 67, which means over 50% of the people that the United States government is bringing into this country and forcing on people are so dumb that the United States government says you can't hold them accountable for murder the same way that the United States government can hold you and I accountable for murder. Now, that is a statement which means, and I'm not allowed, but I'm also still not allowed to say I don't want anything to do with those people, right? If I founded a business and I said, over 50% of this group of people is so dumb that the state says it's not going to hold them accountable for murder, I don't want them in my business, that's illegal. Okay? That is a statement which, whether or not it claims to believe in something, it believes in a divine equity, and and the deity of the divine equity, like the false god of divine equity, its main precept is that, like, the blank slate liberalism, which is that all people are the same and it's all nurture, there's no nature. It's a rejection of it's a rejection of reality, and therefore it's a religious belief, right? It's non-scientific. It's a rejection of reality, and it's a rejection of reality that if you deny it, you are given penalties equivalent to in function excommunication, banishment, other such penalties that you would see in a religious theocracy of any other religion, right? And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, right? The idea that cancellation is basically the cult of divine equity's equivalent to excommunication. You can be excommunicated, you can't get a job, you can't until you adequately make amends, and most of the time you can't, and your life is over. You're just banned from polite society forever. Your life is ruined. You can't provide, you have all these problems. That's a religious system in everything but name. So the point Trent is making is, good morning. Did you see Nixon documentary on PBS News Channel? I did not. I will have to look at it. I'll have to look it up. We'll see. But the point Trent is making is that it doesn't, like, when he says the state can't be neutral on many things, this is why I'm saying the state can't be neutral on anything, right? Either you are Christian or you're not. If you're not Christian, then you're going to have something which functions as a state religion. All systems of government are going to have something which functions as the religious underpinning for the state. Whether or not you call it a religion is frankly irrelevant.
But the state does tell us who is and isn't a legal person. So one example would be who is a person, and another example would be what is marriage. The state can't be neutral on those. So some value system is going to be imposed. Mm-hmm. And so I think that if secular liberalism can be imposed, we can critique it. And if there's something better, we should impose that. And I think Christian ethics are going to be better there. So I'll give you an example. So in the 19th century, there was a Supreme Court case called Reynolds versus the United States. It dealt with Mormon polygamy. Do the Mormons, it's their religion. The guy can have as many, wives as he wants, I guess. Should they be allowed to have multiple wives? Because that's...
Nick, I believe in you. I believe in you, buddy. I've made a decision in this exact moment. Every time one of my boys says I can fix her, I'm just going to tell him I believe in him.
Their religion. Can we impose our laws on them? And in Reynolds, the Supreme Court said that if religious liberty means you can do whatever you want because your religion says so, the law would exist in name only. I mean, think about, if you had people who are like, well, I'm going to be an Aztec.
Yo, keep this in mind, because this is going to come up later when we talk about the case of that 18-year-old who got murdered in the UK by a Sikh. Because the UK has a bunch of laws about religious liberty. Actually, this is way more complicated. This is going to take a second now. The UK has laws against knives, but Sikhs can hold knives because their religion says so, right? But if your religion tells you to go pray in front of an abortion clinic, that's illegal. And the case Trent is making here also kind of rebuts the Joel Berry, James Lindsay isms about total American religious liberty or whatever. It's like, no, that doesn't work. Rip him and Nowak. Yeah, it's Henry Nowak. Yeah, it doesn't work. And it's not believed by the founders. It wasn't believed by anyone in America until the middle of the 20th century. A surprise tool that will help us later. So true.
Heck, I'm going to sacrifice my children for the corn crops this year. So would you agree? Satanists
literally are doing this, though, right? Satanists are claiming that abortion is a satanic religious ritual in some states to try to get it re-legalized.
We're always going to be limiting people's sincerely held beliefs.
To some degree, yeah, that's the nature. Yep. That's the nature of a state.
Okay.
My question to you would be: what do you think would happen with Christian nationalism? Do you think that
What? This is a complete topic change. What is she on? Total topic change, actually.
Christian nationalism in America today, if Christian nationalists had what they want, do you think that it would look like the America James Madison was envisioning?
What do you think she thinks the America James Madison was envisioning was? And do we think Trent will point this out? Trent's doing really good so far. I just want to I just want to file it away in my brain. Like, is Trent going to go, what do you think the America James Madison envisioned looked like? Because all of his friends said it was made for a moral and religious people, and they considered that Christianity. And we know that because of the Immigration Act of 1798. So what does she think James Madison... Oh my gosh. Woman moment right there.
Or that Americans are thinking about? What do you think it would look like?
Well, I think it'd probably look a lot different because people wouldn't be enslaved. That would be nice. It would be a lot different.
What do you mean by that?
Well, like in the time of James Madison, there was a large portion of the United States population that were enslaved. They didn't have a right to liberty.
Yeah, I don't think Christian nationalists would roll back that, for example. I agree.
But there were people who were arguing for and against slavery with religious arguments for and against. And so the state can't be neutral on that question. I think to answer your question, though, what's hard is, like I said in my opening, Christian nationalism is just such a broad thing as to what it is doing. I think on the far end, where you try...
This is excellent. Dude, he's kind of nailing this, where he's refusing to define the term, which is undefinable and defined differently. Because the risk here is if he buys a definition, or he uses a definition, or he pretends that there is a definition, then she can use somebody who he's never heard of or some statement he's never seen on Christian nationalism to try to pin him to something that she knows he disagrees with, and then he has to backtrack or appear to backtrack. He wouldn't probably actually be backtracking, but he's never letting her pin her to this is a defined thing that everybody agrees on. The police allowed that boy in England to bleed to death because they arrested him under the suspicion of racism. Sadly, there will be no investigation in the police and all. Yeah, I know. Thursday on the Whatever podcast, when I would literally shoot myself, Deuterocomical. I would go on that podcast just to blow my brains out live on air and ruin his show forever.
Try to get the church to replace the state, I think things would go poorly. And that would be theocracy. So theocracy is when the state is directly controlled by religious leaders.
Yeah.
That might be popular among some Christian nationalists, but I don't even think very many of them.
Well, theocracy is two things. It's when it's run by religious leaders, but also in the definition is that the legal system is based on religious law.
They freaking added that shit, dude. Yeah, and also gay isn't a disease in the DSM anymore. Oh, good grief. Woman moment again. That would be terrible. I mean, like, what are we doing here? I don't want to be on his stupid podcast and give him views. I also don't want to have to look at women I don't want to be in the same room as a bunch of OnlyFans whores. Like, okay. I'm going to say a thing. Here we go. I'm going to say a thing. I will not judge the state of other men's souls and how tempted they are by seeing women dressed immodestly in front of them. But if I had to sit and have a conversation with a bunch of literal whores dressed like whores for hours, it would be an extreme near occasion of sin for me, and it would be a sin just to go. Okay? Like, I'm not going to be embarrassed about admitting that either. Like, I'm not as holy as some people, and if they can like be in that room and not have it be a near occasion of sin for them, that's fine. But if I had to sit in a room and talk to a woman with her tits out for 5 hours, at some point I'm going to slip up. I don't know what you want me to do. Not holy enough for that, frankly. Sorry. And I don't think most men are, honestly. I think it requires like a borderline heroic virtue to be in a room with 5 hours, like that, and like we literally described like these like the story of Thomas Aquinas getting locked in a room with a prostitute as like an example of his heroic virtue. You want me to go? Newsflash, he's holier than I am. If I got locked in a room with a prostitute, it wouldn't go as well for me, okay? Newsflash. Sorry, I guess. Bro, in humility, that's a terrible idea for me, all right? The only way I'm doing that is if I walk in and out blindfolded, all right?
And I do see Christian nationalists, for example. So,
and I'm not, now there's where I would draw a hard line, that I would consider that more like Catholic integralism or Christian nationalism.
I wish you would define what he means by integralism, because so many people have defined it so many different ways. So many people define it so many different ways. I wish you would define what he means by integralism. Yeah. Also, if that's theocracy, then Christendom was a theocracy. St. Louis IX moment.
Sense that we have to have some kind of way to judge our laws to make sure they're just. And we might use Christian principles to do that.
Sure. My argument to this would be you shouldn't use only Christian principles if you're a statesman, right? So I have kind of two prongs of why Christian nationalism in America is concerning.
Bro, this woman did not read Dominion by Tom Holland. Have you even read Dominion by Tom Holland? It's not like it's 7,000 pages long or anything. Amateur.
One,
Okay.
I think the inevitable conclusion of current American Protestant evangelicalism is theocracy. I think.
No, I'm not talking about Spider-Man. You guys are the worst.
Actually, a lot of Christians, I think just recently they said they think that Trump is the second coming, and they actually are okay with him being the king. Like there's many Christian nationalists that are Protestants that are just
I would
okay
be the
with
best
that.
king that you ever had.
I want a citation on that, because like the second coming, I want a citation on that, because the people that like Trent is laying out as the guys who are the thought leaders on Christian nationalism, Torba, Wolf, I bet he would probably agree that Joel Webbin is like a thought leader on Christian nationalism. But like none of those guys have said anything approaching that. I saw some person with 500 followers on Twitter saying that Trump is Jesus. Like, bitch.
Yeah.
So much better than those other kings.
But terrifying, because it's not just
Even
like,
better than that King George.
Yeah, it's not just like small time people. There was large Christian speakers
Give me a source.
on stages. I was watching, I can't remember his name. He's got this blonde, golden, beautiful hair, and he wears glasses. He was talking to a stage.
I have blonde, golden, beautiful hair, and I wear glasses sometimes. Is she talking about me, dude? Look at my hair. It's beautiful. It's blonde. It's golden. I've got heterochromia. I'm a catch, chat, by the way. I'm the hottest person I know.
Of thousands of people watching, talking about how he wants Trump to be the king, right? And so I think that's really concerning, because you and I can agree theocracies are bad.
Well, I can't even make a joke, and you guys are like, you folded? Good grief. Dude, I'm doing a bit. I'm doing a bit, chat.
Not good, okay? But the second thing is I actually think that Christians ought not make moral compromises. And I think political leaders must a lot of the time. And
Huh? Hold on. What does she mean by this?
having a state in which, for example, well, you have to basically be a Christian to lead. I have very huge concerns about that, because
Then you don't. What do you think James Madison? What do you think James Madison thought? What? She goes, "What do you think, James? Would this be the America James Madison was looking for?" Bruh. Yeah, microwaves in chat.
I think that there are many choices that certain political leaders will need to make for the goodness of their state, to be a good leader of the state, that maybe a Christian ought not make. And
okay, this is an admission that you... Then Christianity is false. If this were true, then Christianity is false. Like, shrimple as, dude. Shrimple as. If there are decisions which must be made for the ideal society which Christians cannot make, then Christianity is false because it fails to form society. It fails to save man. Obviously, that's not true. Christians have to make decisions that they can't make. No, you just don't understand that Christianity isn't be nice, be kind, love everyone. There are decisions that a Christian leader should make that this chick would be like, that's unchristian. No. Like, and I'll... Yeah, so here's the other... Yeah, thank you for this. This is what I was trying to get to. All Christians must not make moral compromises. All politicians and leaders need to make moral compromises. Therefore, no politicians can be Christian. Like, okay, so there should be no religious test to hold office, but also no Christian should hold office. Okay, your position is self-refuting. Oh, Sean McCann, thank you so much for becoming a member. 07s. W's in chat for Sean McCann. Thank you so much. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Your position is self-refuting, and beyond that, you only think of them as moral compromises if you understand Christianity as never doing anything which makes you uncomfortable. Like, there are times when it is right for a Christian to kill a person. For example, okay? If somebody is threatening your family and you're the man of the house and you have the gun, okay? You should pull the trigger. It's actually wrong for you to not pull the trigger. Like, is that a moral compromise? No. Like, I'm going to need an example of this because, like, you can't just assert this theory and have, like, you can't just assert these random things. And also, I'm going to crash out about the chat box breaking. I'm literally going to blow my brains out. Just kidding. That's a joke.
And that would be a huge concern as well, is that I don't think that it leads to, a good system.
Well, okay, so I have two thoughts on that.
This has to be a joke. This has to be a joke.
First, I think that Christians should absolutely be involved in politics. I wouldn't
Didn't say that
Right.
Is that a rebuttal to me?
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. Were you concerned about Christians being involved in politics?
Nope.
Then what was your...
I said Christians ought not make moral compromises, but political leaders must.
Right, but that sounds like if you're a Christian political leader, you're going to have to make compromises.
Probably, yeah.
So if you don't want them doing that, it sounds like you're saying you don't want Christian leaders in politics.
No, I think they can be in politics. I think it's really hard. I think
I could kiss Trent right now. I could kiss Trent. Trent, I could kiss you right now. I could kiss you right now. The look on your face, you poor man. I would have been screaming. I could kiss him right now, dude. That is... Bro, no homo. But I would kiss Trent Horn on the lips right now. No homo. I hope he sees this clip. That would be so funny because he would text me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Trent would not text me that. Trent does not talk like my degenerate Zoomer does. He would be like, what the heck, man? I'm not saying Troy would text me like that, but he would probably send me a message like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Anyway, dude, incredibly. I would have lost my mind right there.
Frankly, it's really hard. And so is there, like, can I imagine a world? I think it's really hard. I think, frankly, it's really hard.
In politics.
No, I think they can be in politics. I think it's really hard.
Huh? Huh? No, I'm not gonna make an emote on Trent's face. Mr. Goodtime, thank you for following. 07's W's in the chat for Mr. Goodtime.
Sounds like you're saying you don't want Christian leaders in politics.
No, I think they can be in politics. I think it's really hard. I think, frankly, it's really hard. And so is there, like, can I imagine a world where you've got kind of a senator, he doesn't get involved in everything, he focuses a lot of his policy and bill making on only the things that are aligned with his Christian ethics and stuff like that, and that's about it. And he uses logic and reason and compelling.
But then he's not a senator. He's like a legislative aide. He still has to vote on the other things, which means he can't be neutral on the other things. I have a question about whatever. All right, what's the question? Go ahead. What does she not understand how the American government works? I understand this is an example and it's a debate on theory, but like, what are we doing? Hold on, I get a text message. The week of that week, do I don't know. I'm going to have to respond to that text message later because I don't know the answer to that question.
To get the votes for it. I think that that's actually fine. I have no problem with that.
Why can't he just vote for the things that don't contradict his moral principles? And then he works against the other things. I don't think it has to be that limited. So I'll give you an example. In John Paul II's Gospel of Life, he wrote an encyclical on abortion and other offenses against human life. In paragraph 73, he talked about what do you do if you are a politician who is against abortion? You want to ban abortion, but you can't fully ban it. So could you vote for limited laws? Like, let's say, we're going to just ban abortion for birth control, but leave it for the hard cases. Mm-hmm. Can you, as a faithful Catholic, do that? And so what the Pope said is, yes, as long as people know you're personally opposed and your goal in the law is to limit evil, not expand it. Because politics is the art of the possible.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't have
Based. Yes. Thank you, Trent. Thank you. Politics is the art of the possible. You have to... Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Why do people even go in there knowing that they're going to get made a joke? Why do in this case, it's like a debate, right? So I don't think Erudite's being made a joke of, but like why do the OnlyFans women go in there? Because they are paying for free advertising for their disgusting work with humiliation. They know they're paying for it. It's not even that they want attention. It's that, like, if I sit here and debate, even if I lose for 4 hours, I'll get, however many new subscribers to my OnlyFans, then maybe that's worth it, right? That's the idea. That's what's going through their heads. W, Trent, though. Phew, gosh. Thank you, Trent. Soda! I mean, to get there or promise a platform to share their views. I hope it's to defend their values or seek gain more exposure from... Nah. That's not the attention you would want? The internet's in a different place.
Enough political capital to get everything you want.
I think a valid critique of that would be going, well, you're still necessarily enabling to.
What?
Politics is the art of the possible.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't have enough political capital to get everything you want.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is wow. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Trent. Dude, what a absolute banger there, dude. Sometimes you don't. Holy cow. He's doing so good. I expected to like agree with him on like 80% of things and be really annoyed by the other 20. So far it's like been 5%. And they've only been partly annoying, not really annoying. I don't know how I dealt with this woman, though. I would have been yelling at her by now.
I think a valid critique of that would be going, well, you're still necessarily enabling to some degree.
His head shake. What the?
Critique
Look
of
at his
that
head
would
shake.
be going, well, you're still necessarily enabling to some degree.
No.
The poor behavior. Well, because you're compromising on it a little bit. You're still allowing it somewhat in edgewise.
Compromising and enabling are different words and concepts. They're not even synonyms. They're not remotely the same. They're not remotely. You're enabling because you're compromising. Huh? Do you understand? Are you literate?
But that's like saying if there was 100 drowning children and I only have the resources to save 90 of them, I shouldn't save the 90 because I'm somehow complicit in the other 10. I don't want the other.
Analogous. It would be more like you have, in order to save 90 children, you might have to like shoot one in the head, right? That would.
What? His example was literally like, hey, there are 90 children drowning. I can only save 80. Should I not try? Right? Like, oh, there are this many millions of children being aborted. I can stop 90% of the abortions. Should I not try? Yes, you should try. And her thought is like, oh, by stopping 90% of the abortions, you're necessarily killing them? No. What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Phillies are absolutely dog walking my Pirates, dude. After last night, too. Yeah, last night was embarrassing.
Be more of like the type of compromise situation.
No, it isn't, because.
Or you have to let somebody torture that child a little bit, right? And it's like, I want the political leader to make the choice to torture the child a little bit. I think the Christian gets very, very stuck.
Oh my gosh. What is she talking about?
Make a better analogy. So it'd be like there are 100 children drowning and 90 of them are being drowned by super skinny, scrawny guys. And so I can easily beat them up and save those kids. The other 10 are 300-pound jiu-jitsu black belts. So it's like, I know some jiu-jitsu, not enough to beat a.
Yo, somebody has to put, I know jiu-jitsu from Trent. It has to be on a bingo card somewhere. He's doing so good. I don't want to make fun of him, but also I know jiu-jitsu. It's just out of nowhere. He does it in every appearance he does. He does it in every appearance. It's so funny. Never mind. Big Fro's like, no, I can't fix it. He does. I can't get over every time he's on anything. He's like, by the way, I know a little bit of jiu-jitsu. It's like me bringing up Nixon in every possible conversation, dude. It's like, did you know Watergate was a scam? Jiu-jitsu is Trent's Nixon.
You'll be fine.
Not enough to beat a 300. I'm only a blue belt. Not enough for a 300-pound black belt. So it's like, I'm not letting that. So when I choose to intervene to save some of the kids and stop the people killing some of them, the others, I'm not letting them. It's just I don't have the power to stop them yet, but I hope one day I will.
Sure,
Much the same
but
with
I would
abortion.
say to that in that instance, I think
I don't have the power to save all the babies, but I hope one day I will.
But perhaps the Christian argument would be maybe in this situation, you should throw yourself at them anyways, because it would be the right thing to do, to try to save them, even if you'll fail, because the glory is the kingdom of God. It's not just.
Oh my gosh.
The outcomes, right? And I think so I think
But if letting them
reasonable.
beat me up so the other 90 kids die anyways,
Not
then
rational.
but I want to be rational and save as many.
Christians shouldn't be rational. Yo, this woman. Trent and Heschmeyer and like a lot of our guys occasionally get in debates where I'm like, I feel bad because I know how much prep they do because I've talked to them about how much prep they do. And I feel bad for them because it's like, dude, you did all this prep. I could have won this debate half asleep and like withdrawing on like withdrawal in like nicotine withdrawals. And I could have beat this woman in a debate. What? I feel so bad for him because it's like, dude, all the prep he did, and it just like there was no reason.
As I can without doing evil.
Sure.
And I'm not doing evil by just recognizing I don't have the power to stop these other people yet.
Sure.
But here's the other thing I want to bring up about theocracy. What I also worry about from your critique.
Yeah.
This is just a critique of any value system.
No.
Because secular liberalism will always try to make the president a king to do what they want. I mean,
Okay, hold on. Sorry. We have to back up so I can hear what he said because she just did something that pissed me off. Like unreasonably. Okay. All right. We got a notepad, right? Now, this page is full. What do you do with a notepad when one page is full? You flip it over, you write on the next page.
It's just a critique of any value system.
No.
Because secular liberalism will all.
What? Why do we tear it out and start writing on the back? That's not how you use a notepad. That's not how you use a notepad. What are you doing? That poor notepad. What? Sorry. Okay, we have to back up and listen to Trent again. I got distracted. I was like, what is she doing? Why?
Always try values, theocracy. What I also worry about from your critique.
Yeah.
This is just a critique of any value system.
No.
Because secular liberalism will always try to make the president a king to do what they want. I mean, people treat Trump like a king. People also did the same with Obama or Biden, maybe not as gold, fancy, and flourish, but they'd want them to just put in as many policies as possible that they support. That's everybody gets that way.
Sure. I think that like selfish voters typically just want what they're self-interested in to have. But I think like the founding fathers are Christians and deists who made the nation, who were very intentional about building separation of church and state. And
They were not. What do we do? I'm going to lose my mind. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They weren't. Thomas Jefferson was because he was a deist. But like, if you wanted to immigrate to America, if you want to know what the founding fathers thought, who the founding fathers thought could be American, go look at when they were literally still in charge of Congress because they were all still alive. Go look at the immigration law they passed. You had to be a European Christian. That doesn't sound like separation of church and state as she defines it. What? Yeah, Mysterion's right here again, as you most of the time. You know, he has a pretty good track record. They wanted separation of state and from church, not church from state. Yeah. What are we doing?
I think there's a lot of people, secular and Christian, who recognize the values of these things, right?
What's up,
And
Alias?
so I don't think that this is a critique of like the secular system necessarily. What I'm saying here specifically is that like Christians shouldn't make moral compromises, and necessarily political leaders must. And I think like the example you give is a good one, because I would agree.
Once again, though, if you say that, what you're saying is then Christians shouldn't be political leaders, or they're bad Christians. Like it is an effective ban of Christians from political office. Dude, what the heck? This is like, think about what you say for 2 seconds, please.
As a leader, you should make the rational choice to not throw yourself at the 10 men that can kill you. I think that that's totally fine. Or throw your nation at it.
Because of that, it will stop me from saving the other 90.
Sure.
I just can't fight.
Is this woman Christian? If she's Christian, I'm going to lose my mind. There's no way, right? What does this woman believe? I'm trying to figure out what this woman believes. Yeah, the thumbnails are I mean just they're She's Christian? This can't be. This is a Christian. Dude, what denomination? I'd still be Christian if the resurrection didn't happen. Oh my gosh. Okay. Never mind. Doesn't matter. I wouldn't be. Just saying. It did. But, like. Okay, so she's just a utilitarian. Right? I mean, I guess we can watch the video. Like, let's watch the video and see what. Let's just watch the video and see what she says. Like, what she means by this, I guess.
Because you grew up in a Christian home, sounds like. I think that's true. And
I'm still a Christian too.
you're still a Christian. Because I think it was described as radical orthodoxy, but it's not
Yes.
particularly the Orthodox Church. Is that correct?
It's Protestantism, actually. So I'm protesting the Catholic Church. It's a branch of Protestantism. It's just a theological approach that's a lot closer to probably how the Catholics engage with the Bible. Like I'm not sola scriptura, for example.
Okay. But you believe in like the resurrection and everything. You said yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay. And
But if it didn't happen, it wouldn't change my faith.
if it didn't happen, you'd still be a Christian. Why is that?
I think like fundamentally, like if it was like more metaphysical than it was like real, it still doesn't change like my personal experiences with Christ. Like those are undeniable. And I think the world is always trending towards a better world when it's like more oriented towards Christ.
So she would reject the Lewis trilemma then? What? Like, the world improves itself when it's oriented towards Christ, but like, if Christ isn't divine, then it's not orienting itself towards him. It's orienting itself towards an idea of what like goodness is. Because he's dead. It can't orient. It's like if the resurrection didn't happen, like this guy's face is literally, what are we talking about?
I just feel like there's so much, I guess, evidence in the pudding.
So are you saying you've had supernatural experiences with Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing those experiences?
Okay. I don't want to hear about the supernatural experiences. I want to know. Okay. I'm just going back to the debate. That's
Christians shouldn't make moral compromises. And as a leader, I think that that's totally fine. Or throw your nation at
because
it.
of that.
I think that God put in every human being a desire towards his goodness.
Okay.
And I think whether you watch Christian ethics or other ethics, there is a trundling towards that. I just think Christian ethics are the best at it. But we can acknowledge...
But that's something I said earlier. Yeah, Christian ethical principles, they're the best system.
So
do you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. Of course I agree with that. The issue is...
That was it. That was not a rhetorical point. I feel like that was, if I had to guess, that was completely unintentional. He like actually just was like, oh my gosh, thank you, we made progress.
A Christian ethical system, for example, doesn't insist on political power. It actually doesn't.
No, I don't.
Of course not. Otherwise, why would Paul say, render unto Caesar, while Caesar is murdering Christian...
Paul didn't say that. Paul literally didn't say that. Render. Oh no. Oh no. Do it, Trent. Come on, Trent. Do it. Do it.
babies. Why would he say this?
Are you talking about when Jesus said, give to
There it is. Thank you.
Caesar what is Caesar?
Yeah,
and
or
give to
Paul
God's what
said
is
to
God's?
honor the authority.
Well, yeah.
That's not, Paul didn't say honor the authorities. That's not what it says. That's not what it says. This is Romans 13, right? It's either Romans 13 or Romans 3. I know it's Romans, though. Uh-oh, I got text message. Oh, yeah. What did she say he said?
Said, give to Caesar what is Caesar.
Yeah,
and
or
give to
Paul
God's what
said
is
to
God's.
honor the authority.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he said to honor them, but he also says that it's because they're ordained by God for your good. He doesn't just say to honor the authorities. He gives a reason. It's because and he uses the word diakonos to describe Caesar, right? A good conscience has no need to go in fear of the magistrate as a bad conscience does. If thou wouldst be free from the fear of authority, do right, and only thou shalt win its approval. The magistrate is God's minister, working for thy good. Only if thou dost wrong needst thou be afraid. It is not for nothing that he bare the sword. And the word the word God's minister here is diakonos in the original.
Yeah, Paul, he does say that, but we have to also remember in the book of Acts, when Peter and John are brought before the Sanhedrin, which basically had political authority over the apostles, and they said, we told you not to preach the name of Jesus. And what Peter and the apostles said to them, they said, we must obey God rather than men.
Of course, if your state insists on you doing something wrong, right? If our state made a law that said not only is abortion legal, but you, Trent, have to get one if you're under the age of 24, like some crazy state. Of course, yeah, Christians should resist against that. A state should not compel you necessarily to personally act in sin. But that's a very big difference between making policy and law that is only justified by the Bible and telling, importantly, non-Christians that they must comply to that as well. That's my concern.
But what I would say, though, is you're right. If it only relies on the Bible, I think that is not a sufficient way of arguing in a pluralist society. But I want you to agree with me that I would say Christians have a moral duty to rid the world of unjust laws.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that before. Do Christians have
What? It's a debate on Christian nationalism, and she said, I haven't thought about whether or not Christians have a moral duty to oppose unjust laws?
Let's think it through. Christians have a moral duty to rid the world of unjust laws.
Probably, yeah. But unjust is going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Of course.
Because I think I certainly operate in this way, right? I do my best to be pretty loud and political about things that I think are unjust and wrong, but also about things that are empirical.
So, for example...
But I just don't know if I'd confer that to all Christians, but sure. For the sake of this conversation, I just will.
So, for example, the civil rights movement. So, what would it be now? It would be about 70 years ago in Alabama in the South. You have the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC.
Yeah.
That was the movement working to end legal racial segregation in public accommodations.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of people who were saying that Christians shouldn't be doing these things. Is where does the Bible say we should be doing this kind of stuff?
Those Christians were wrong, right?
They were wrong. And so, but the Christians were operating under the principle that no, God made all human beings in his image and likeness.
That's to my accounting, though. This is my view.
But it was...
Okay, so you're literally just a moral relativist. I don't think Erudite is an OnlyFans model. Is Erudite an OnlyFans model? I thought she was just like a 2016 era style debate, what is it? She's on whatever. So is Trent. So Trent's on whatever. You can't do that. Like, that's not how the math works. Like, aren't you just a relativist though? Like, if you're saying that's to my accounting, therefore I can't enforce it, you're just a relativist. Right? I mean, hello?
I'm already presenting.
Right.
I have no problem with Christians using both their Christian ethics and rationality and logic, which philosophy probably better than I do. Lots of original philosophy comes out of Christianity. Right?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
What I'm saying is we agree they're permitted.
They don't just point to the Bible. And that is my...
Fine.
Well, that's my whole point on Christian nationalism.
Good. Because I do think a lot of
you
people
agree
who
with
are...
me? No Christian nationalism.
I am against...
My definition of Christian nationalism.
Sure, but I don't think that applies to there is a huge spectrum of people who identify as that. Just like there's a huge spectrum of people who would say that they're secular. Like you said, there are anti-theists on the end of that spectrum that are nutballs.
Both these groups are heterogeneous, of course.
Exactly. The Christian nationalism I would agree with would say that there are major Christian principles that Christians have not just that they can, for example, vote to outlaw abortion. Christians have a moral duty. Every single Christian has a moral duty to rid the world of these unjust laws. If they are capable of doing so, they might
and if they're compelled by the argumentation, because a Christian argumentation for certain like abortion unjust laws is, well, while we agree that at some point we are killing a person and that is wrong, unquestionably wrong, we are also necessarily setting up a system that we can look at the outcomes and go, we know increases child poverty. We know
Is it worse to be poor or to be dead? because chat, this might be controversial. Call me crazy. I think it's worse to be dead than to be poor.
Increases child, can I say the ADUC?
Harming
Child harm?
by bigger people. I know what you're getting
Child
at
harm.
Here.
So we should just kill them? What?
It increases mother poverty. It increases mother's death and infant death.
So sick of this stuff where like abortion is all about women, dude. I'm so sick of it.
So when we look at that type of,
like, the only thing that has to do with women have to do with abortion is that women who do it should go to prison. Like, all these other arguments about like, oh, they're sad if they do it, or like, no, it's murder. Like, we don't talk about the potential murders constantly when we talk about why murder is bad. Oh, you're going to be sad if you kill someone. Who gives a fuck? Shut up. Yeah, also, I was just going to leave that one. I felt like I didn't need to rebut that one, but Mysterion feels the need to point out that she said not murdering infants increases infant mortality. Not murdering infants only, like, stopping abortion only increases infant mortality if you don't count abortion as infant mortality. Oh, also, check this out, guys. This is totally an aside. Look, I got a business card today. These came in the mail. Pretty cool. I'm going to cover this bottom part up. Pretty cool.
system, we might go, okay, well, abortion is something we definitely want to decrease. And I'm with you on that one. I want less abortions too.
Wait, why?
Because I think that abortions at some point necessarily are a tragedy. Something evil is happening. And I don't know where that point is. But at some point, it certainly is, right? The Christian answer is to be most conservative. But the state answer cannot be to just be most conservative on moral issues.
So you want less abortions because it's just possible a person is being killed?
Well, no, at some point, there is unquestionably a person being killed.
Well, but you don't know that point.
No one knows when ensoulment happens.
I'm not talking about ensoulment.
That's what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about a person, the person I care about is obviously the ensouled person. Like if we make a meat human that isn't ensouled, like a clone, something like that, do I care about it being killed? Probably not.
Oh, well,
but if there's a...
Huh? Dude, can we get back to political theory? Here we go. Legal strategy versus pro-life goals. That sounds interesting. Let's skip to that.
See a good reason to reject them.
Well, the issue, I don't reject preserving human life as much as possible. What I reject is the process legally by which you want to do that, because I think all of the goods of the future matter too. And so would I like a world as well where abortion is basically doesn't exist anymore because there's no rape and there's no incest and there's no, that one's fine. There's no, all of the things, all of the tragedies, including poverty, including single motherhood, including deadbeat dads. My dream world is obviously that abortion doesn't have to happen. And we can be aligned in that. The actual difference here is that the way I go about targeting it is going to be different. And the reason why we go about targeting it differently is logic.
Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, word salad, fun. Cool word salad. Moving on. Cool word salad. I'm not listening to that.
I agree, but it does it through engaging in the political system the way that every other person is allowed to participate. It doesn't do so by using laws to preferentially prioritize certain Christian values. This is why James Madison, do you know what James Madison was opposing in his memorial remonstrance, like his biggest everything for separation of church and state? Do you know? And it's esoteric. It's fine.
I thought you were talking about the supporting churches financially, but is there something else you're referencing?
Well, it was specifically a tax that was going to be taken from all Virginians to just fund religious teachers.
Yeah.
And James.
Okay, but that's not opposing involvement of the church in the state or religious principles in the state. What? That's not what that's opposing. That's opposing. That's opposing the state supporting a specific church. Like, that doesn't prove your point.
Madison.
That proves the opposite. Like, that proves, like, it's a non sequitur definitionally, right? It has nothing to do with your actual argument. If your actual argument is the church shouldn't be involved in the state, then you would need to come up with where James Madison, and you want to use James Madison, you're going to have to come up with a point where James Madison was like, oh, actually, the government shouldn't follow religious principles. Like, oh, the government shouldn't give money to a specific church is not what? Like, it's a complete non sequitur.
Christian was vehemently opposed to this because he said that this is just one step towards tyranny of church, which we just left, guys. We're not.
I'm going to need a quotation on that. Yeah, until I see the quotation on that didn't happen.
Going back there. This is why he says in his argumentation that any sort of policy that gives extra preferential treatment to Christian ideology or Christians themselves over other people is not only
over one denomination over another.
Against what we want in our state, it's also anti-Christian in this type of situation, right? And so what I'm saying to you on Christian nationalism is I think it's totally fine for Catholics and all Christians to speak out against abortion and all these sort of things. I think it is all in your operandi as citizens to do so. What I am not okay with is Christians going through the back doors, using lobbying systems, paying off politicians to get their favor, to force through abortion without convincing the populace of that.
No, that's exactly what we should be doing. We should be doing that. Actually, the opposite of what she just said. We should be using lobbying, money, and blackmailing politicians as much as possible into making sure babies don't get killed. Literally the opposite of what she just said. Literally the opposite of what she just said. We should literally, like, unironically, the opposite of what she just said. We should exactly do that. Murder is bad. We should do everything we can to stop mass murder. Here's a real statistic, chat. If Gen Z is people born between 1995 and 2012, the United States of America, through the abortion regime and industrialization, has killed 1/5 of Gen Z. 1/5 of an entire generation. According to the WHO, 73 million abortions take place every year. Fuck your principles. I don't care. My principle is murder shouldn't happen. I don't care how much money we have to spend. I don't care how non-democratic it is. Like, your right to be represented by your representatives is fucking gay and retarded, and nobody gives a shit if what you're doing with it is killing babies and killing 1/5 of a generation or killing 1 million babies a year. Fuck you. Fuck your laws. Fuck your government. Nobody cares. I will be cheating to win. Suck it. Wham, wham, wham. We have to convince the populace. Guess what? We've been trying that strategy for literally, no joke, 53 years now. It took us 50 years, took us 49 years to get Roe overturned by using democratic means. And it didn't work, okay? I'm going to drop a bomb on everybody here. Everybody put your fingers on the clipping buttons on Twitch and Kick here. Put your fingers on the clipping buttons. The Dobbs decision is pointless because nobody did the work on the ground at the state level to follow up on it. There were 15, count them, 15 referendums on pro-life issues and abortion issues since the Dobbs decision. 12 of those states went for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. Only 2 of them did the pro-life side win. Fuck your polls. Fuck your public opinion. Fuck your referendums. I'm going to spend money on shit. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to win. We are going to stop babies being killed. If you want to do it any other way, you're gay, you're retarded, you should quit politics. Not sorry. Anyway, I'm not watching any more of this debate, honestly. I'm going to skim the chapters real quick and see if there's anything else interesting. No, nothing else interesting. I'm not watching all of this. Clip made. Chat, should we you guys want to make a short live on air? You guys want to make a short live on air? All right. Ones, if you want to make the short live. 2, if you want to, if you don't. Making the that clip I just ripped. I just ripped a clip. We're gonna make it a short. Make it short form content. Now, where are my clips? Where are my Twitch clips? Where is my Twitch clips? That's a crazy title Mysterion put on this. You want to see how this is done? All right, let's try it. Let's try... The Dobbs decision is pointless. All right, let's try method 1 here. Yeah, we're just going to have to... edit layout. Apply. Save clip. Yeah, save clip. Yes. How do I download this clip? Download. Here we go. Okay. Hit the button that says download. Shit, I didn't try that. Dang it. I'm so stupid. I gotta make my Premiere file first because I don't want to show you guys. I don't want to show you guys the my file system. Sorry. Sorry, mate. I'm not gonna show you guys my file system. All right. Okay, import media, and we import the file. Okay, there we go. Now I can screen share. Okay, screen share. All right, so first thing we're going to do is just going to rename this footage. We're going to rename it raw footage so I know in case I decide to edit it. Okie dokie. And we're going to do this. Then we are going to check the sequence settings on it. We just want to make sure it's the right. Hello. Nope. Cancel. We want to make sure it's the right. Want to make sure it's correct. Yeah, see, this is wrong. Frame size 680. So we're going to go to 1080, 1920. And 30 is fine. We want to change that. Check our color management. Make sure that's correct. That's right. Okay. And that's good. Yeah. Now we're just going to take this and size it up. And then we just need to make sure our audio is good for non-streaming release. So we're just going to use the internet delivery compression here. And then the internet delivery, are we going to put words on it? Yeah, we'll do that in a second. And then after we do the internet delivery compression, we just want to make sure that it doesn't peak. So we're just going to go to that, just make sure there's a hard limit. So it's capped, the audio level is capped. And there we go. I know you guys can't hear it. It's okay, I promise. So that audio level's good. That's good. We're going to transcribe this now. And we need a picture of we need a picture. Let's just change our workspace too. Okay, there we go. We need a picture of we want a picture of Dobbs protests. So we're just going to go try to find a picture of Dobbs protests. We're just going to use tools, size, large. We're just going to make sure it's size large, just because we want the vertical. We don't want it to. Let's do pro-life protest. Tools, size, large. And we just need a good picture here. Yo, this one rocks. We'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. This is good. Just save image. Put it in the Dobbs folder. And drop it in here. Need to make some bins real quick. Pics. B-roll. Then we'll import that picture into here. We'll import that picture, go to here. Then we just have the Dobbs decision is pointless. We're going to go to here. We're going to back it up just a touch, actually. Let's just go to nice even 1 second. And then we just need to size this up. And let's just go to here. Yeah, I like it about there. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. I need to stylize this image now. How do I want to do that? How do I want to do that? What styles do we want to put on this? Video effects. Generate. No, let's do a distortion effect on it. Let's. Why is Catholic political theory, besides electing a totalitarian and giving them a tiara? Catholic political theory is the Catholic social teaching, which is a collection of encyclicals written in the last 130-ish years, 135 years, on how to have a just society. And it's not totalitarian. In fact, it's rather opposed to totalitarianism. It does not lay out a specific political system. It just lays out rules to follow for when you are engaging in politics. This is better than watching Bob Ross paint. Okay, well that's a high compliment. I'm slower right now because my tour box isn't plugged in, so I'm about to plug my tour box in. Hold up. I got arthritis. That's not a joke. I actually do. Don't Catholics have a state ruled by an absolute monarch? No, absolute monarchy and absolute sovereignty comes about after Protestantism and after liberalism. After in the early modern period, or in the late modern, in the early modern period, the Catholic monarchical system was not absolute. And in fact, we've only really canonized a couple monarchs, and the ones we have been very non-totalitarian, and in fact have been rather opposed to, have been actually rather opposed to totalitarian rule and opposed to the nobility in favor of the poor. King Louis IX is the one that comes to mind. He was not totalitarian. In fact, when ruling on conflicts between the nobility and the peasantry, he specifically sided with the peasantry as a rule. Totalitarian for me, but not for me. That's the idea. No, like it's not totalitarian. There's nothing totalitarian about any of it. There's the idea of this totalitarianism is specifically like the idea of the absolute monarch who can do whatever they want and ignore everything else is really truly comes about more in Protestant monarchies than in Catholic monarchies. The Vatican isn't an absolute monarchy. No, the Vatican is a elected monarchy and is more has actually a lot of voting and things that you would be surprised about. Yeah. Even Wikipedia is wrong then? That's fine. Wikipedia is wrong about a lot of things. I mean, on this stream specifically a couple months ago, we went through and read the Wikipedia entries, the Wikipedia talk pages when the Al Khamenei died, where they were pretending that it wasn't, yeah. So what's the limit of the Pope in the Vatican? What's the power of the Pope in the Vatican? Moral law. Yeah. In theory, he has absolute power, but King Charles, in theory, has absolute power as well. He just, respects the rule of law. So there's no, in theory, everyone has absolute power in any elected position. They just respect the rule of law. And the people in other parts of the leadership structure also do that. If you're going to say, in theory, somebody could, say they get to do whatever they want. So every government is totalitarian by that definition. The definition is meaningless. So you just, we should stop using language at that point, honestly. Effects controls. Position, scale. We're just going to throw a punch in here. I'm just going to punch. You know what I mean? I'm just going to throw a punch. Hit a little punchy. Get a little punch there. And we need to use shutter angle. That's how we get blur. So we'll just do that there. And then we're going to ease. Throw some easing. And watch it back. Ooh, yikers. That's slow. That's slow. We don't like that. That's ugly. Undo that. Holy cow. We need a harsher ease here. Let's go to quint. Let's use a quint instead of a quart. Instead of a cubic. There we go. That's going to do it. Yeah, 50. There we go. Yay. Did you go to class for this? I've always wanted to start making edits, so I don't know where to start. I literally, this is not a joke. I would sit down with a video, go, I want to do this. And then I would look up a YouTube tutorial for how to do that. And I did that for every video I was making. And every time I didn't know how to do something, and I still do it. And now I just know a lot of stuff. This is a politics channel, not a mystic channel. Huh? What are you talking about? Is Wiseman behind? Somebody asked Wiseman if he's behind. Wiseman might be behind a little. We need to turn this up. This needs to go to like 360, I think. Can we go more? No, 360 is the highest it's going to get. All right, so now what we want to do here is I'm still going to have to stylize this image. I just don't know how I'm going to stylize it yet. So we're going to, while I think about that, we're going to do the next thing. So what we need to do is get the list of the ballot measures that have been had, all 15 of them, and we're just going to get cutouts of each state. So we're going to get Kansas, I don't want an outline. I want a PNG of Kansas. You know what? I might already have this. Hold on. Let's look at something. I might actually already have states. I think I already have all 50 in my assets folder because I have a really large assets folder. So I might already have the states in here. Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know I still had that. That's not a thing I need anymore. I should get rid of that. Not right now, though. Nope. I don't have it. I thought I did, but I don't. That's weird. I was positive. I thought I still had that. Interesting. Very, very weird. That's very interesting. I don't have it. No, I do not. No. Okay. Kansas map PNG. That's what I need. Raymond DeCoin, thank you so much for your donation. Great to see you back this week. Hopefully you're feeling better. Christmas Rex, I'm feeling great. I was feeling good last week. I went back to Indianapolis for Mother's Day. Thank you so much for your donation. W is in the chat for Raymond. I did not go to India. I went to Indianapolis. Dude, I can't find it. I can't find any. Dude, is this really not the kind of asset that I'm going to be able to find for free? You got to be kidding me. This is like the dumbest possible thing. PNGs. Stop asking me to log in. I'm not going to log into your gay website. License type, free license. Okay. New plan. New plan. New plan. That's not going to work. New plan. Not going to work to get the states. Here's what we're going to do instead. We are going to take this. All right. We're going to open Photoshop. We're going to do it this way. New plan. All right, now you're learning a real pro editor trick. You're learning a real pro editor trick. Jacob Weissman is definitely behind. He's all the way back at like when we were talking about the segregation thing. All right, pro editor trick. The pro editor trick is always be willing. I swear, if you just pulled push-ups right now, I'm in the middle of an edit. I hate you, Quintus. All right. Hold on. Pro editor tip. Always be willing to change tactics. Always be willing to change tactics. In this case, couldn't find outlines of individual states. So instead of doing that, we are going to make a new... You're going to use these, and we're going to color them in. So that's how we're going to do this. So, but before we do that, we're going to do push-ups. All right. How much do you think Jesus could bench press? All of the weight. Realistic, like, mystically or physically? Like, how much do I think Jesus's physical body could bench press? Like 300 to 400 pounds, dude. Bro was literally like a stone worker. Not even talking divinity. He was a carpenter in the zeros AD. Yeah. Which would have required like real stonework and lifting it and stuff. Like in the 300s easily. In the 300s, like with no problem. I mean, how much did the cross weigh, right? Like you got to think about that. He did that like emaciated and beaten half to death. So all right, Kansas. That one's Kansas. All that secret society stuff is because Jesus was a stonemason, not a carpenter. No, the secret society stuff is because the Masons are Gnostics. Masonry is evil. Okay, how do I want to do this? There's two ways to do this animation. Because what I'm seeing in my head for this animation is the states light up, right? Not just like the map with the states colored. The states like they turn colors from the blue that we're starting with here. So there are a couple ways we could do this. I could just color them all, save 2 files, and then mask and unmask, right? Do like a mask. or I could save files for each of the individual 15 states. I'm thinking the easiest way. Is there a fade effect? I don't want to do the fade. I want them to light up like tick 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 because I want to do the sound effect with them because good sound design is how you get people to keep watching stuff. So I'm thinking the best way to do this would be actually to put the. No, either way we're gonna have to do the layers, right? Yeah, either way we're gonna have to do the layers. So, okay, here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna save this one as new folder, states. Yeah, I'm gonna just save Kansas, and we'll just save them in order. Oh shoot. All right, we're just gonna save them in order. Yeah, there's a fade effect, but I don't want a fade. Crossfading is gross. It looks disgusting. I hate crossfading. All right, Kansas, California, and then we save. We do CA, and then Kentucky. And then we save. And then Michigan. And then we save. And then Montana. This is how you know. This is how you test your. This is how you actually test your knowledge of U.S. geography is if you struggle to use a completely unlabeled map. Vermont. And then we need to get the 2023-2024 ballot measures. So then we go to Arizona, save. Wouldn't it look cooler going left to right? No, because this is going to be, it would if this was horizontal, right? If this was horizontal, that would look good, but this isn't horizontal. It's going to be vertical. So going left to right is not actually a lot of movement across the frame, right? Because you have to think like when you're moving left to right on a vertical frame, that's not a lot of horizontal space, so it doesn't actually appear to be a lot of motion. Whereas if you do it in order, it's going to look the randomization will have more of a visual interest than left to right on the small axis of a rectangular frame. Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Maryland, this one's Maryland. Maryland's MA, right? There's an MY. MD. Florida voted theirs down. It didn't reach the 60% margin needed. No, it passed. Provide a constitutional right to abortion before viability when necessary. So they voted it down, but it was a constitutional right to abortion. So the fact that it failed means that the pro-life side won on that one. Maryland, Missouri. That's MO. What is the West, and does it have anything to do with Catholics? The West is European, America, Canada, the Anglosphere. Western, the West is in Western society, the kind of universally recognized historical and sociological term for Western culture and Western people. And the thing it has to do with Catholics is that we invented it. So, and then Montana again because they had to vote twice. So then Nebraska, which is NE, which is weird. Nebraska is NE. For some reason, that one always feels wrong. I want it to be NB for some reason. The West is the countries bombing children in the land of Jesus, and Catholics invented it. Israel is the country that bombs children, and yes, some Western countries support Israel. Unfortunately, the Western society is fallen in a lot of ways, like every other country, every other society. Nevada. With help from the UK and others, yes. Some countries are bad. That doesn't mean they're not a part of the West, and doesn't mean that people who are Western should hate their heritage. All right, let's count the states. Make sure we got 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There we go. Now, we need to do one more, and that one more is we need to do in green. Here we go. So that's going to be Nebraska and Florida. We'll just call that 2. 16, counting the state of Long Island. I hate you. Why are you like this? Don't you need to denote the ones that... Oh, shoot. You're right. Hold on. Which order do I say this in? That's going to determine the order we have to do this in. 12 of them went for Trump. Okay, so... Shit. I shouldn't have done this in red. Okay, hold on. We can fix this. It's easy. All right. We'll do